VG Pet Food. Thank you so much. Ah, Mr. Oye is here already. Awesome. Can I quickly do the intro before I invite Mr. Oye? Can I just quickly do the intro? And we'll start with the session this evening. So today we'll be talking to Mr. Oye, and I'm just gonna read his profile quickly. It's a long one, but I'll try to be as fast as I can. So I'll be introducing our guest for today. His name is Oye Akideinde. He has 19 years plus experience. Oh, yeah, these people disturbing me on WhatsApp. Sure? It might be no. All right, guys. All right, so I just want to quickly introduce our guest for tonight, who is Mr. Oye Akideinde, and we'll be discussing with him on music streaming and how artists can benefit from this. So, if you know any artists, established, upcoming, please send this live video to them so they can all watch and also join. And guess what? You guys also have the opportunity to ask Mr. Oye your questions. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna quickly read his profile. It's quite long, so I will try to skip some lines, or maybe should I just go into the video straight because I can see that he is online. Let's excited. Who else is excited? Who else? Hero, what's up?
Hey,
Good evening.
good evening.
I was about to read your profile, and I said, oh my God, this profile is too long. Let me cut it. But I said, okay, let me just add you up since you are online already. So I wanted to do like the intro
Okay.
before adding you on the live station so that people can have an idea of who you are and what you do. And again, looking at the title that we'll be discussing, which is how artists can benefit from music streaming. So which means
Yeah.
every established artist or upcoming artist that anyone knows, they send them this live video so they can join, ask questions, and also learn. All right. Thank you, Mr. Oye, for joining us today.
Thank you
And
for having me.
before I start asking questions, like questions, can you please just so Michael Tibbs is saying the father of 316 of wow. Can you Michael Tibbs is actually here. I'm sure you know
Shout out
Michael.
to Tibbs. What's up, man?
Yes,
So
yes.
I think in a nutshell, I'll just introduce myself as Olori Supergirl's PA and leave it like that.
Now I'm shy. Now I am shy. Oh my God, this is not fair. This is not fair. This is not fair. Okay, so some people are saying 360 numbers. Some people are saying the king of 360 numbers. But for most people who don't know Mr. Oye, I'm going to read the profile because he just put me on the
No.
spot. It is not my PA. Okay, Deji said he wants to help you.
Oh God. Please, can you help me block Deji?
I can. I cannot. I cannot block Deji. No, it is not possible. Oh my God, can I read his profile? Oh boy, oh Lord, it's just too long. Okay, but let's just dive into this session for today so that people can learn. And for
Yes.
those who are joining, thank you guys for joining. This is Mr. Oye Akideinde, like I've said earlier. Michael Tubes, okay, please do the introduction. Awesome. All right, so since we're talking about the topic, how artists can benefit from music streaming, I think it's still good for people to know who you are and what you do at the moment so they can have an understanding of what we are discussing tonight.
Okay. So my name is Oye Akideinde. I went to University of Lagos. I studied computer science. I also have a master's in information systems from University of Hertfordshire, UK. I have a degree also in music business from Berklee School of Music. I've worked a bit. It's probably over 20 years now in FMCG with UAC, where I handled web development and marketing projects. Also worked with a bank. I was head of their debit and prepaid cards there. I worked in I'll fast forward a bit because I worked some other places, but most in relations to the music business. So I joined forces with Noble and Tony Suarez to start up 360 Knobs. So I'm one of the co-founders of 360 Knobs. Um, I also worked with Spinlet Music. I don't know how many of you remember Spinlet.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the head of business development at Spinlet. Then I went to Boomplay where I started Boomplay with um, some of my colleagues at Technomobile, and I left Boomplay as the regional director for West Africa. Currently, I'm with MTN Group. I'm the GM Music Services, and I'm also the CEO for Music Time. So that's it in a nutshell. And
All
at
right.
the time, I was Olori Supergirl's PA. I'm sorry.
You want Michael to send me a bill from London. Edu. Michael is watching. Edu. Emma. Edu. Michael is in
Michael
something.
that left 360 for you. He said, "Oh yeah, you're not taking care of me. That Olori is taking care of me." I said, Michael, think of the future. Tubes.
Can you
No.
imagine? Awesome, awesome. All right, so I'm sure we all know that the pandemic has been something nobody planned for.
Yeah.
Like we actually get into the third month for the pandemic so far, and a lot of businesses has been affected. In short, I think all businesses have been
Yes, they
affected,
have.
especially the hospitality industry. But now
Yes.
we're looking at music now. And my question basically is, how has the current pandemic affected the music business during COVID-19?
So you know that the music industry as a whole, um, it thrives off of large crowds, large audiences. So the music industry stems from even let's even start from the early days of the pandemic, where you had conferences such as South by Southwest, made them canceling. So down to the business side of the workshops and all that, they were the first ones to cancel. Then you have the big shows, the big ticketing shows that everyone looked forward to year in year out, whether it's the concerts at South by Southwest or our usual concerts. Like now, we don't even know if we're going to have a dirty December, for example.
Hmm.
And when you look at the just that part of the pie for the artists, right? Touring and concerts is the biggest part of any artist music revenue pie. So obviously that's hugely affected. And then when you look at um, even down to even down to songwriters, right? Songwriters make money from performing rights, from publishing. When artists perform their songs that they wrote, they've lost that revenue. Um, you have DJs that normally play sets; they've lost that revenue. You have you have even sound engineers that will work backstage. You have
Sure.
you have makeup artists. You have so the whole industry has been affected. It's I mean, they predicted that they've probably lost close to like 30 billion. We don't know how much further we can go, but the music industry is still here to stay. Thank God for digital, so that has been the one shining light that has actually happened. Streaming numbers at first took a dip, but they started rising because um, people were becoming more and more innovative with digital. People were doing things like versus on Instagram. People were going live on Instagram, and they were kind of embracing. And by doing things like that, it kept bringing the streaming numbers because people remember, oh, Praise that sang that song. Oh, Waje sang that song. Oh, Immaculate sang that song, and they'll go and look for those songs and play it, and thereby increasing the streaming numbers. Um, and then it brought about a lot of innovation. So I think um, none of us have been in the pandemic, obviously. So to even figure out how to survive a post-pandemic is an art form. I see a lot of artists that have roughed this period, right? Because we don't really know when we're going to be out of it. They
Hmm.
start becoming more and more entrepreneurial in nature. They're,
Yeah.
they're, they're becoming, for lack of a better word, influencers, right? So using that huge numbers to bring in cash, um,
Yes.
even just entertaining. So they're using more and more social media tools to to reach out to the fan base and make money off that.
Awesome. I really like the fact that you talked about pressures, because a lot of people joined, not just
Yeah,
not just in America. Like a lot of people actually enjoyed the fact that two people actually came together to create the versus part and actually
yeah,
keep me awake, and also reminding them of the old songs that they did over time and all.
exactly.
Yeah. So, which brings me to my second question. What changes would the effect of the pandemic make on the music industry in the future? I mean, like you said, nobody has experienced a pandemic before, so we don't even know what the
Nobody.
post pandemic would be all about. But what do you foresee in the future?
I mean, I think so. In Africa, right, a lot of people still, and I'm not talking about those of us that read and all that, but for like the masses that still don't really understand what coronavirus is, they'll still gather for parties. They'll gather for one beers. Things might go on as normal, but for like the proper concerts, the really the big organizers, I see life has changed, right? Because I won't go for a concert until I'm sure that there's zero case in Nigeria.
True.
It's scary because I mean, it can start from one case again and spread like wildfire. So there's that fear. Do you want to, people have to start thinking, do you want to start enjoying concert from, you remember in the 60s and 50s where in America and UK, they had drive-in cinemas where people sit in their cars and watch movies. So do you want to
Mm.
start creating sets like that where people can enjoy concerts by sitting in their cars with their mask on and all that? So there's going to be a lot of adaptation, right? Um, Now in Africa, especially maybe Nigeria, right? We don't have huge spaces where concerts can really happen. So even the event halls have to change. When they say social distancing, how do you remember it to social distance? When if I see you outside, I'm going to hug you now. So what's social distancing really?
Yeah.
So we have that. Music industry has that togetherness. So it's going to be hard, right? To for things to go back the way they are. So I think the new wave will be artists have to find other revenues, right? A
Mm.
lot of platforms, including Music Time, want to go into live streaming. So live streaming, whereby artists can still reach out to their fans, and they can even start charging a price. And I think that's a new way, it's an innovative way. More and more artists will look at that digital streaming numbers. They'll take more notice on that. So
Mm.
revenues from YouTube, revenues from Music Time, from iTunes, from Spotify, Apple Music, they'll begin to look deeper and deeper on that. They'll probably learn. They'll become better entrepreneurs. They'll become more creative. So a lot of content. I see a lot of content creators happening. I would ask artists to also try and make their music videos kind of like short films, and see
Mm.
if Netflix is here to stay, right. So if they can get short films licensed, if they can get documentaries, I mean, Dibanj just turned 40. Shout out to Dibanj. Um, it won't be bad to have a Mohit documentary or a Dibanj documentary. And I'm
True.
sure you'll make that kind of revenue from it. And for the new artists, just be creative. Just even things like invest more in merchandising, invest more in just being creative, because now it's even going to be harder to be discovered among the clutter digitally. So you have to be creative. You have to do Facebook marketing better. You have to be above that clutter. Your music has to be good. Luckily, digital radio is coming into its space, right? So um, do you plug in into digital radio versus do you plug in into traditional radio? Those are the kind of arguments you need to start having. But all in all, I mean, I think it's a learning process, and we have to learn.
Mm.
For all we know, in Nigeria, nothing might change. We might just go back to how it is, and we have a dirty December in December, and nothing. We don't know.
That December at the car park in our cars.
Yes.
Dancing and favorite music. You talked about documentaries, and it reminded me of Ayoshunaya, who is currently doing something regarding music artists, which I heard him before Corona. And and some of the concerts that you also talked about, that people can actually have concerts. Well, we don't have the large spaces, but I think car park would actually replace event centers, which is
Correct.
something that is also happening in different parts of the world. Like Michael just mentioned here, it's happening in UK, it's happening in Germany. So
Germany
we are
especially. Yes.
so
Yeah,
this
but it's not the same. You know, you're sweating. You don't even know the next person beside you. You're sharing a bottle. It's not the same. Things. I mean, I'd rather stay at home and watch it than be in my car.
Mm.
You know.
I said so if this is gonna happen. Sorry that I'm stuttering, but if this is gonna happen, are we saying that if it's gonna be streamed that you want to watch from home, something that can be done on music time? Is this something that can be streamed on music time where people can actually watch?
Yes, of course. You know, because with the live streaming, what we're trying to do is we've also partnered with MTN. In the case, most of those live streaming events will not consume MTN users' data. You know,
Mm.
so if you're an MTN user, you can jump on. The streaming events will be data inclusive. So we are trying to find innovative ways that both the artists and the users can benefit maximum, you know, and still deliver that premium service. But yeah, I mean, Ayoshona, I was fortunate to be interviewed by him, and that documentary, I can't wait to watch it because he showed me a few clips, and it's really brilliant. He even had archives because he's our godfather. He's been in the music business longer than us,
Oh,
you know. So it's probably been if I've been in music business for 20 years, he's been in maybe like 40. He's not that old though, but you understand, it's been long,
yeah,
way longer, you know.
yes.
So it's one of the things that we need to do more and document. I mean, and it also ties into what we've been saying about Black history and all that. We need to start documenting our own stories, and I'm so happy that Ayo went that route because I mean, you have people, you have foreigners telling us the narratives of Afrobeats. You know, you have people saying that they invented our sound. Meanwhile, our sound has existed. You know,
Hmm.
so it's good that we also tell our story the way we want others to tell it.
Awesome. So talking about music time, and I like the fact that you talked about, because I wanted to ask the question on how artists can actually join the platform, and also how they can stream their music on music time. So we're going to talk about music time, and my question is basically how can artists plug their songs on music time?
Okay, so like with every other DSP, every other platform, basically, you can reach out to us through your aggregator or content provider or label. So if you're a UMG or Warner or Sony artist, most likely you get onto us. If you use aggregators such as Mad Solutions, Africori, Dito Music, Tune called Believe, you get onto us. So I think the first step is to ask your aggregator to then distribute. You'll be surprised that your music will be on our platform because we have over 30 million songs already. The other way is just to simply send us, if you don't have any aggregator, just simply send us an email to music@simfi.africa, and
Sorry,
then
can I take that again? Email is what?
music@simfi.africa.
Music at
Simfi, Simfi,
team.
SIMFY .Africa.
Oh, okay, yes, I got it. Fine.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I just typed it so that people can see
Yes, correct.
the image. Yes.
So if you're an indie artist or a DIY artist, you can send that email, and then either myself or one of my colleagues will reach out and tell you. We'll give you a list of aggregators that you can obviously work with, and I mean, just let's get your music out there. The focus for music time is basically my daughter is I'm on IG live. So the focus of music time basically is The focus of Music Time basically is to. Do you want to say hello? Yeah, say hello.
Hello.
Hi. Say hello to everyone.
Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right.
Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Let Daddy
Hello.
finish his mission. Thank you. Thank you, baby. So, the focus of Music Time is that we believe that we have to do more for local music, right? For African music, and that's the idea. So we put African music first. So for all the independent artists, all the DIY artists out there, and we don't judge whether your music is good or not. I mean, we're just a platform, you know. So we put out the music and then we let the fans judge. And so you have to do it through an aggregator. We don't sign artists directly, but we can recommend the aggregators we can work with.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question here from Michael
Yes.
Tubes.
Yes.
Michael,
I have a question for him as well. Michael, when are you doing my photo shoot?
oh my God. Okay, so Michael asked the question, how can new artists survive in this period and also become a household name?
So they have to be creative, right? They have to. I would advise, right? There are so many ways. There are still a lot of reality shows that are coming online.
Yeah.
I tell for an artist that doesn't have money but you have mad talent, I always tell people that the best way to get to build a huge fan base is to go on a reality show that is entertainment focused. You know, so um, there's one that even MTN is doing. It's called Yellow Star, um, and I know they've been taking in entries. But there are lots. I'm sure Versus a platform of Versus is definitely going to get bigger and bigger, and they might start thinking of competitions. But there are reality shows out there. If you can't get into a reality show, and if you have a bit of marketing budget, I'll say, I mean, create a small space in your house. Start doing covers, like covers of songs, because what has happened to me is that my discovery of new songs has slowed down a bit because I want to. I'm enjoying the old songs again. You know, the songs that we used to vibe to in clubs and all that. And a lot of people like me are doing that. So for new artists or for artists that want to put out new music, right, you have to have that plan. I mean, do put up covers. You can even monetize your covers, right? There are sites like Harry Fox that you can get a license for your cover and you put it on all the stores. There are sites like there's the aggregators like DistroKid that would also give a cover license for you to. So there are easy ways to do a cover. So if your favorite artist is like, for example, Michael Jackson, you can easily get a cover license for one of his songs. Um, I think that's a way to get noticed, right? So if you can sing as good as Michael Jackson and you cover that song well, people will get noticed. Another thing is to be more creative, right? Believe in your talents, right? So you need to be more creative, right? Put out that new sound. People don't know what will catch people's attention. Um, and music is never lost. It's never forgotten. Obesere's Egungun Be Careful was released a long time ago, and it just came back like that. Utilize short form video platforms, TikTok, Trailer. The Don't Rush challenge um, um, was successful because of short form video platforms. You know,
Mm.
so for me, I think artists need to become entrepreneurs. They need to be more creative. They need to 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 take advantage of those platforms. There are other platforms that are made for Africa, platforms like Viscuit. So even if you can't get above the clutter, like Trailer and TikTok, I mean, go Viscuit. But try and build out your base. Try and build your fan base slowly. Please do not buy followers. Followers don't get
Mm.
you anywhere. Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
you have 100,000 followers and you only see 13 likes, that means it's only 13 fans you have. You know,
Mm.
so you have to build the true followers, and platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, um, Instagram they allow you to grow your pages. They actually allow you to grow pages. They allow you to run ads. So as for as low as $5, you can actually start growing your page one by one. And the experts like you that they can reach out to that can tell them, oh, you have to start doing retargeting, you have to do similar audiences, you can do custom audiences and stuff like that. So for me, I think artists need to work closer and closer with creative teams more than business teams, right? The business team still matters because, like I always say in every conversation I start with, the most important person on your team is a lawyer because music is law. So once you've gotten your lawyer in place, and there are a lot of lawyers that, from Fosa Doza to Akiemi Law to Misudwak, there are a lot of IP property lawyers that are really, really great and know their stuff. A bit of them are pricey, but if a bit of them, if they love your music, they'll take you up pro bono.
Yeah. Awesome. I like the fact that this math, emphasized on do not buy followers because
Yes,
that's one thing that happens to, I mean, not just music artists, but a lot of people would feel that for me to be popular or anything, I need to buy followers, and it always backfires. That's one
it
thing they
does.
don't really
It does.
understand. So at this point, I think for anyone who is watching, please you can ask your questions now so that we can take your questions while we round up this session. Okay, so I have a question here. Can
Yeah.
artists make as much money from music streaming at this time? I know you talked about it earlier when you said some old songs now or some artists are now getting the vibe, like basically for instance, they will be careful and express they go. I heard that song when I was a young girl and
Exactly.
came
Yeah, we
back
all do.
to this internet age and it became something else and I was like, oh my god, if when I was because when I was younger, if I should actually sing that song, my dad would look at me like, this side
But now I'm
high.
sure your
But
dad
now
joins you in singing it.
everyone is saying people be careful now, especially people, and that's even Fuji music. It's not even Afro pop. It's not R&B or
Exactly.
soul or jazz or neo soul. It's Fuji. So if you are
Pure
listening
Fuji.
to Fuji and all, like it would have been something else. But look at it today. The internet has actually given it access to its audience on social media, and Obesere is even
Exactly.
out there more. So talking about making money from music time. I mean, how can artists actually make money on this platform?
So, like any other platform, you just have to put your music there. You have to notify your fans where they can get your music, right? Music time is done in a very, very friendly way, whereby, again, we partnered with MTN as a whole. So it's not just available in Nigeria; it's available. We, right now, it's available in eight territories. So that's Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Congo, Cameroon, um, and Afghanistan. So yes, Afghanistan. People can exactly people can listen to your music. So what we've done is we partner with MTN to ensure that the music service, once you're subscribed, becomes inclusive of data. So that means
Mm.
that users can once you buy a plan, either 2 or 5 hours, and we have things called flexi packs, which is either your 2 or 5 hours, and then we're rolling out daily, weekly, and monthly by July. And the idea is once you buy any of those packs, it comes with data, so you don't have to use your own phone data, and that way it helps solve the biggest challenge, one of the biggest challenges in Africa, which is data. Data is still seen as a sensitive commodity.
Yeah.
I've heard. I remember when I was very very active on 360 North. Sometimes when we drop a new song and it's not a big name, in the comment section we'll see, please, someone should advise me where I should download this song. I don't want to waste my 5 MB gig data on it. So we still see those things. We see a lot of when we run surveys, especially for music time, we see a lot of users saying, or when they're asking us questions and they say, "Oh, but I can't stream now. I thought you said data is included." And we first asked them, "Did you turn on or off your data?" They said, "I put it off." I said, "If you put it off, that means that your phone there's no data can enter it regardless." And they said, "Oh, I didn't know that." So you see a lot of users that they only put on their data mode when they want to browse, and then they turn it off and all that. So that data is still a big challenge, and that's one of the challenges we want to solve. The other challenge we wanted to solve was micropayments. Most people will not put their card details on apps, whether we
Yeah.
like it or not. So we found the next best thing, which is phone credit, airtime billing. So users of MTN can easily buy just off their airtime. So we really try to tailor it for Africa, because we believe that once that solution is tailored for Africa, we are able to first of all solve the biggest problems that affects consumers from actually buying music or getting music legally, and also creates an ecosystem that artists can now make proper revenue from.
Mm. Okay, so this man asked a question that I think that you've already answered.
Okay.
So it says, I have a lot of songs, but the streaming on my songs are quite low. Please, are there ways one can increase his visibility on those streaming platforms? And remember you talked about visibility, you talked about
Yes.
creating awareness, you talked about marketing, and marketing has to do with digital marketing. You also talked, because I took that, I'm taking down notes, so I wrote down very well.
So
You talked about it.
I'll advise anyone to, I mean, Olori does a lot of digital marketing workshops. I've attended a few. I've actually spoken on one, and
Yeah.
it helps for you to reach out to professionals. It's not that you can't learn it on your own, because I mean, you can go through Facebook and it's step by step. It's like a next thing, and you're done. You've created your campaign. But when you talk to experts, they have a few tricks up their sleeve, and a few of them have also built platforms and relationships with other platforms. So, I mean, if you reach out to like an Olori Supergirl, or you reach out to one of the editors on 360 Knobs, they might just know other editors on Instablog or on Linda KJ or somewhere, and they will be able to help you plug in your music digitally. And it's all about PR. It's all about visibility. You don't have to put your full music out. You can put a snippet out. And then
Sure.
you put the store link. So you cut the most interesting part of the song out, and then you say to listen more, go and stream the music there. And I think that way, so you also have to be mindful, even if you want to build an audience that doesn't have money, right? There are platforms such as YouTube, such as that have ad supported streaming, right? That will not necessarily charge the user. So in that way, at least you're able to build your fan base. And one thing an artist needs to note is that you always have one platform that you have the largest fan base on.
Sure.
It might be Instagram, it might be Facebook, it might be Twitter. So you have to decide where your battle lies first, what you're very, very good at. It will be good for you to have presence on all of them, all those social media platforms. But you have to choose one that you're the strongest on and where you get the best engagements on. In the same vein, that also applies to the music stores. So if you choose to be at home on music time, you have to ensure that that's the most engaging platform you're on. If you choose to be at home on YouTube, you have to ensure that that's the most engaging platform you're on. So for me, it's about artists also know where their fan base are. So most services, including Music Time, will tell you where your fan base are streaming from, and that also helps you target. So if you want to do a live concert, or if Corona is over, you want to do an actual concert, and you actually think your fan base is in Nigeria, but actually it's in Togo, your backend will tell you that you have like 10,000 people streaming from Togo, and that also helps you with your ad targeting, because you can now say, oh, that means I need to spend more money on acquiring more users in Togo, because that's where my base is. Likewise, you might have journeyed from Ibadan to Lagos to try and build a fan base, and then when you check your backend analytics, you still find out that actually 9% of your fan base is in Ibadan. So you go back to Ibadan and become a king there. So I think that's the beauty of digital. It gives you the analytics. It gives you that information that you can use to grow your fan base. And like I mentioned earlier, platforms like Facebook, they have things like lookalike and similar audiences, whereby you can build a custom audience based off your own current audience and fan base, and then you target people that you think might like your music as well. Also, new artists. What I always advise them. You already at some point, right? When you're starting your music career, you know which artist has influenced you, right? Or has mentored you, or who you're close to, or who you want your music to how successful you want to be. So you gotta look at their life, right? Study what they've done, study their mistakes so you can learn from their mistakes and not make the same mistakes, So you need to find out who are the most successful digital artists out of Africa. Is it Mr. Easy? Is it Burna Boy? Is it Davido? You know, because there are some artists that are just meant to be born performers. So you have artists like Adebantu, Femi Kuti, that they'll probably Femi Kuti will fill any stadium you give him in Yankee. It's a standard Nigeria, anywhere in the world, right? And it might not be the most streamed globally, but it makes the biggest chunk from the pie. So first of all, as an artist, you need to discover what kind of artist you are. Are you going to be a performing artist, or are you going to make? But even if you realize you're a performing artist, you still have to put your music out, because I believe my watchword is do not leave any cover on the table. No money should be left on the table. So even if it's 10 you're going to make from digital, still get it. And I think that helps. You have to have multiple strategies. You can't just have one strategy anymore.
Okay, so I have another question. Before we leave, I think this will be the last question
Okay.
for this question. So the question says, why are you not reaching out to diaspora with your streaming music business?
Afghanistan is not in Africa.
That's the question there from Michael Tubes.
What do you say? Why are you not reaching out to?
Why are you not reaching out to Why are you not reaching out to diaspora with your music, with the streaming music business?
We are actually, because the idea is first to grow, roll out in where we have the strongest partnership. Remember that to be successful, you have to build and learn, right? Build the agile way. Start doing you have to keep on learning and adapting to what users tell you. That's the way to create a perfect platform. And then once that's done, we're going to bring on more partners, um, and then make it a full OTT service that goes into diaspora. We believe that Africa hasn't had a perfectly tailored solution for it. So let's first solve the problems in Africa. Let's stop being a consuming continent. Let's create our own solution for Africa, and then take it to the world. Because I mean, our African music is already been exported to the world. So we might as well start creating solutions that is first perfect for Africa, and we can then export to the world.
Okay, so Didi has a question here. Didi Patara.
Patoranking.
Hi, Didi. I'm sure you caught me. Oh my God. Didi, hi. Hi, how you doing? Okay, so Didi has a question, and she said, I can say, sorry. How can a new artist register his or her music on Music Time?
Okay, so they can, if they have an existing aggregator, so aggregators such as Africa Reach, Ziki Media, One RPM, anyone that they have, right, they can go via through that aggregator. If the aggregator has a contract with us, then obviously we on board. If the aggregator doesn't have a contract with us, then we'll try and recommend another aggregator, or we'll start talking to that aggregator because of it, to see if we can onboard them. Again, I know you shared the email, so it's music at, and the new artist can send an email, music@simfi.africa, and then we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Oye. We've talked about music time, we've talked about music streaming, we've talked about different ways on how artists can actually make money. Even during
Yeah.
this pandemic, nobody can say, oh, I'm broke, because you need to be creative, you need to think of other ways and other means that you can actually make money. And I'm just going to do a quick recap with what has been discussed today. And the topic for today is how artists can benefit from music streaming. To talk about the platform Music Time. You guys need to go out. You guys need to just check the platform and sign up for those who don't know about it. And some of the few things that I took from this session is that artists need to find other revenues. It's very important that we don't just stick to what we know before, but let's start adding new things to what we know and also build our platforms. We talked about streaming platforms. We also talked about new methods during COVID-19 using the case study of Versus TV. And as we all know, we all enjoy and benefit from the artists that are coming together, giving us this old vibe and all. Please, can we have this versus version in Nigeria? The versus version in
I know
Nigeria.
and Ovie started those things. I know that SARS also went to so the famous that scheme that SARS and TV did. So I think eventually it will become a norm. Um, in terms of education, artists should try and there are a lot of free courses out there. There are platforms such as Coursera, EDX, where Ivy League schools actually um, um, give free courses for people to learn from. And those things are, I mean, I've actually studied a few of them on Coursera and EDX, and they are very, very worthwhile. They improve your knowledge base a lot. I think artists need to start learning about everything they can recognize on.
Okay, oh yeah, your sound is low. I mean, we can hardly hear you. So, now it's
Okay,
better.
so
I
let me
think
let me
it's
repeat
better.
that. So
Okay then.
I believe that artists need to start learning more, impact getting knowledge more. So there are places online that they can learn for free. So like Coursera, EDX, um, those a lot of them they partner with Ivy League schools like Harvard, MIT, and they give them courses that I mean typically you pay like $3,000 for free, and even down to how to learn musical instruments you can find on platforms like that. So I think it's something that they should do.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Oye, for your time.
You're
Thank you. I think I
welcome.
need to now apply officially. And then Michael Teams will come for the photo shoot. Don't worry. I'll pay for his ticket.
Yes,
Don't worry.
yes, it's a
I'll
must.
go back and it's set to.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me. Or sorry for having me. Yeah. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Oh my God. Okay, so thank you guys for joining. For those who stayed to the end, thank you all for watching this session. We just ended our session with Oye Akideinde, who is the GM of Music Time. You guys need to check out Music Time. If you know any artist, upcoming DIY artists, and the rest of them, please for this video or send them the link to this video so they can watch and also learn on how, number one, they can stream their music on Music Time. They can also earn money, and also for artists to begin to think as entrepreneurs so they don't get stuck with the current situation, which is COVID-19. So guys, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys in our next OSG live series. Until next time, please stay with us, stick with us on this platform, and we'll be announcing a new extension of our brand, which is the OSG podcast. So we'll be launching the OSG podcast. So we're launching our podcast in a few days. I mean, we've been on this for a while, and I think now is the time for us to just, extend the brand a little bit. For those who have been with us for over 10 years or 10 years max. So now we'll be launching OSG podcast. And yeah, so we'll see you all next time. Thank you, Mr. Oye, for joining. Thank you, Didi, Michael Tubes, The Smart. Thank you all for joining, and bye for now. Bye-bye.